Hi guys, welcome to Doug's Shoe Bushcraft. Thank you for tuning in. The topic today is a do-it-yourself wood seat. And everyone I think is familiar with these hunting seats, or they're also used for like sporting events, a cushion that you bring yourself as a handy carrying handle rather than sitting on the cold bench. You can sit on this, it's insulated, cushiony, very comfortable. But also with hunting, got an owl yelling at me, but that's alright. But also with hunting, if someone's going to be sitting out in the woods for hours waiting for whatever kind of game animal to come by, you're sitting right on the ground, you're losing body heat down into the ground. And I think everyone's familiar with a wind chill. Here there's just a little bit of a breeze. It's a cool spring day, but even that tiny breeze, I don't know if that's 5 miles an hour, what that is, just a little bit of a breeze, actually has quite a bit of a cooling effect on my body. It's blowing my body heat away, and that's a principle that's known as convection. But also, if you sit on something or lay down on something, then your body heat is going down into that ground or whatever surface, and that's a principle known as conduction. So you have something like this, much more comfortable. And you know, if we're recreating out here, bushcraft, backpacking, camping, whatever we're doing, you know, primitive camping, might as well be comfortable. Adds to the fun, the enjoyment. But this also has survival applications, because let's say someone gets lost, they're exhausted, and a lot of people just go until they can't go anymore. You shouldn't do that. You should stop while you still have some reserves. But it's very commonly seen the people that get into a lot of trouble or sadly don't make it, but they just keep going until they can't go anymore. Then they just drop, and they're out in the wind chill, but also they sit on the ground, or a lot of people are found in a fetal position, curled up lying on the ground, and their body heat is getting sucked away. That's very dangerous. So if you could have the presence of mind, well, first of all, you shouldn't get lost. Learn how to navigate, know your limits, don't get lost. But you know, we're human, we make mistakes. Let's say you do get lost, and a lot of people are in a panic. They're running to try to get out of there, get to a road, get back to their car, whatever. But if you keep the presence of mind not to panic, and then you realize you're lost, okay, slow down, and before you run out of all your energy reserves, or before it gets dark, look around, try to find a sheltered area next to a big boulder or ledge, under a tree with a nice canopy, maybe a nice fat trunk so that's blocking the wind. You can sit on the side where it's blocking the wind maybe, and you sit down next to that, and you're a lot better shape because you're out of the wind chill. But let's say you brought something like this and you sit down on that. Now you're not losing heat from conduction down into the ground, and this is great. You could just bring this. A couple disadvantages: that's really fat, which is good for insulation. However, it's going to take up a lot of the space, maybe most of the space in a day pack, or half the space in a big backpacking type pack, and also weighs almost a pound. So here's something you can make yourself. And I cut this from just a cheap camping pad, sleeping pad that usually you roll up, but I cut it the size that fits along the back of my backpack. And this is an older model Continental backpack by LL Bean, and it has a padded back. A lot of backpacks don't. So if you carry this in your backpack, you're actually making a padded back for yourself. Fits in there comfortably, takes up almost zero space because it's just right along the back panel. Weighs an ounce. And that's great, just that little bit. It's a lot of insulation value. Also keeping yourself dry. If it's wet ground, you know, bad weather, or let's say it's snow, that helps a lot. But I find 2 is just so much better. With 2, even sitting right down on frozen ground or snow, I don't feel cold, I feel insulated. It's a world of difference. Let's imagine it's bad weather. It's raining, snowing, blizzard, whatever. I love these Arcturus ponchos. I'll put the link in the description. They're like 20 bucks, shipping included. And they've paid me $0, and I buy these myself. So it's not a promotional link, but any Arcturus executives tuning in, set a brother up, send me some gear. Well, see how it goes. But PVC ponchos are cheap. The only thing is they tear. The old military style, like I call them, like rubberized ponchos, are great. Those things are so solid. However, they're heavy. But these Arcturus ponchos, the ripstop, they have a coating over the nylon, thin nylon cloth, so they're actually waterproof. They're impermeable. But only 11 ounces, so that's my choice. But now if it rains, snows, whatever it does, I'm not getting wet. The poncho, it's impermeable to water, also stops all the wind, I would say. I have some insulating layers underneath. A lot better shape. And I know this is simple stuff, okay, none of this is rocket science, but can save people's lives. So think about it. Tell your friends getting into the hobby about a wood seat, some sort of wood seat, and that's our topic today. But also, in my mind, what goes along with it is some sort of cover. I like a poncho, but if you're not going to carry a poncho, can you at least carry a green trash bag? You know, essentially free, because who doesn't have trash bags at home? You know, take one that's unused, obviously. Or some people like those Mylar space blankets. That works too. I don't want to open up a whole can of controversy, but I just like the poncho because, you know, the sun comes up, or I get some rest, whatever, I'm able to walk again. It's still raining or snowing, I can wear this. So, I mean, you can't make a head hole in a trash bag, or you could wrap the Mylar blanket around you, but just a poncho seems to make sense to me. Alrighty, so I'm telling you, it's a really good idea to bring a wood seat with you. Let's say you don't for whatever reason. What else can you do? Well, one thing you can do is just sit right down in your backpack. But to do that, I have to take out things, I should take out things that I don't want to squish, or they're uncomfortable because they're solid or pointy or whatever. So it's not really practical in my opinion, because taking things out of my pack, putting it back in every time I want to sit down, the danger is I'm going to accidentally leave crucial gear on the ground somewhere, particularly in an emergency type situation. Might not be thinking right, I'm rushed or stressed or afraid, whatever it is. Much more likely to leave gear behind. So that can be done. I do that more if I was where I was going to spend a good amount of time or spend the night, then I might do that. But it's not really practical in my opinion. And a 2-ounce double layer do-it-yourself wood seat, it's worth it to me. But let's say you don't bring one. Another thing you can do is put down natural materials. A lot of people comment on my videos and say, why are you putting down pine boughs? And pine boughs are really good idea, any sort of evergreen boughs. However, where I go, I'm not always allowed to be chopping up trees, or if I can, I don't want to in that particular area, because a healthy tree, I don't always want to be chopping off the boughs. But that's a good idea. It can be pitchy, particularly pine. Other types of evergreen like fir and spruce seem to be less pitchy, but you can put a layer of bark. I like doing that, particularly birch bark. But if you can find dry leaves, those are also very insulating. You want a lot of loft, because you sit down, it squishes. The heavier and bigger you are, the more it tends to squish, and you're losing insulation. So you've got to start out with a big mound, and then hopefully when you sit on it, and you've been sitting on it or laying on it for a while, your weight isn't squishing it. But it's a really good idea to bring a wood seat, because you got to be able to find the materials. Then you need light, sunlight. If you don't have flashlight with you, you need to be able to see and find those materials. You need the energy, the mobility, and the ability to make the seat. So how are you going to have that in some sort of emergency when you needed it? You could rely on that. It's up to you. Know your skills, know your limits. But in my opinion, it's good to have something that you can just put down. You have it right there, and then some sort of poncho cover. A lot safer. I value what you think. There's a lot of people with a lot of different skills from all over the world tuning into Doug Shoe Bushcraft these days, and it's just an honor. Met so many nice people, but you have ideas and you have experience doing this sort of thing. So please, if you have something to say, please put it in the comments, and I'll be talking to you there. Thanks for joining me, guys. You are the God who performs miracles. Psalm 77:14.